Hello everyone, this is Noah and you're welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a continuation of the previous concrete block machine. Well, whereas in the previous video we are looking at the assembly of these parts, and I also named most of the parts, and I also gave a few details of how these parts work. Well, today's video we shall just be looking at the new parts, and we shall also look at the useful machine settings. Then we shall also be looking at the useful parts. By useful parts, I mean the parts that are going to contribute to the working operation of the machine. Then lastly, we are going to be looking at the machine working operation. So let's start right away. For those people who haven't watched the previous video, I'll just give you a simple introduction of these parts. Otherwise, for more details, you can go and watch the previous video. The machine frame, this is our machine frame. Okay. We can also look at, let's first look at around, let's look at the machine, okay. Look around the machine, then I can introduce each of the parts. So, okay, this is our machine frame, okay. Then we have the mold lifting system. That's the mold lifting system that has been highlighted. Okay. Then we have the vertical shaft. These are our vertical shafts. There are 4 of them. Well, the vertical shafts are used to allow vertical sliding motion of the mold. Then the mold lifting system is used to lift the mold, as you see here. It's used for lifting the mold. Then the frame is where everything is attached. Sorry, this is our frame. Everything is attached to the frame, okay? So the other next part we have, this is our compaction unit. As the name says, the compaction unit is used for compacting and also vibrating the blocks. So in this case, it does compaction and vibration at the same time. Then we also have our pallet seat. The pallet seat is where the pallet is placed, and the pallet is just a wooden board or plywood where the blocks are made or are formed, okay? And so the pallet seat, the pallet sits on the pallet seat, okay? And the blocks are made on the pallet, and that's how these 3 of them work together. That's how the parts work together. Then we have, this is the mold. The mold is the one that determines the shape of the block and also gives, vibrates it has 2 vibration units that are used for vibrating the concrete mix. Then we have, this is our motor, single phase motor on the side. This motor has a pulley, okay, and the pulley has a belt. This is the belt, okay. The motor has a cover just for safety of the operator. Then we have the control plates. I'll be talking about these other parts later on in the video, okay? The locking pin, the belt tensioner, and this concrete block and switch. I'll be talking more details about this as we go on, okay? But those were the major parts, okay? So as I said, this video will be talking about the new parts. Okay, the new parts we have in this machine. On the previous video, you might have noticed we didn't have a vibration motor on the compaction unit. So in this case, we have a vibration motor here, and this vibration motor, as you see, it's bolted onto the compaction unit. Then we have a control switch. The control switch is just we just chose this type. It's a rotary switch that works in a way that it has off. When you rotate this dial here, it goes to off, then MC. M stands for the mold vibration, and MC stands for both mold and compaction unit vibration. Then this is just a circuit breaker on this side here. This switch is bolted to the frame, just right there, using these countersunk bolts. The green part here is just an indicator that I'll be talking about later. It's just an indicator lamp that I'll be talking about later on. Then next we have a washer plate. We have a washer plate that we introduced on top here in the compaction unit. Well, this washer plate here, this is a washer plate. The washer plate here is it will help us align these bolts. Okay, these bolts have to be on the same level, the 4 bolts. These 4 bolts here, they're actually used to adjust the height of the block, which I'll be talking about later on. So they're used for adjusting the height of the block. But when you're adjusting the height, the bolts have to be on the same level. That's why I have this washer plate, to just allow us to have it on the same level. And the other thing is that the washer plate also, it is used to activate this switch. So we put a switch here. This switch here just basically switches on the indicator I talked about, this green indicator here. So like when the block height is attained, when they are required, you see the required block height is attained when this washer touches this. Okay, when it touches that, that means we have attained the required block height. And when it touches that, we see that it will also turn on this switch. So when it turns on that switch, we have this indicator lighting and telling the operator that the required block height has been attained. Next, we are going to look at the useful machine settings. These are some of the things you have to first do before getting to make blocks using this machine. So these are some of them. We have the compaction unit and mold alignment. So in this type of machine, we see that these two are not actually aligned. This can move to this side. It can also go this side beyond the machine. So if you want to align this with this mold, for the mold it moves straight, it doesn't go in another direction apart from the vertical sliding motion. Okay, so if you want to align these two, you have to adjust these bolts. We have these 2 bolts, this bolt over here and this bolt over here. These 2 bolts have to be at the same height or same level, okay, for us to have these aligned. So what you have to do is you have to adjust this nut. You have to unbolt this nut. When you unbolt it, you can move it either outwards or inwards. So depending on how you unbolt it, see, because when when we move the compaction unit, this bolt touches this plate, okay? And by touching this plate, that means if the bolt has been set well, that means this compaction unit is aligned with the mold. So what you have to do is, if it's not aligned, you unbolt, then you check for alignment. You do this until these 2 are aligned, okay? So if they are aligned, you tighten the bolt and the nut, okay? You tighten the bolt and the nuts together. So that's the alignment part setting. Then we have the rotary switch. Yeah, the rotary switch, I'll just talk more about it. As I said, this has off, M and MC. The block making cycle is actually on the switch directly, as you see. So we can have the machine off, completely off. That means there is no power for the vibration system. Then when you move this dial to M, that means we're providing power to the mold vibration. Then if you move it to MC, we provide power to the mold and the compaction unit vibration. And so that's a cycle. And after doing the switching on these 2 and the indicator goes on, that means the height has been attained, then you go to off. I'll be talking about machine operation more in detail later on, but I just wanted to talk more about the switch there. Then our next part here is the tensioner, the belt tensioner. So this is our belt tensioner. You will see that in most cases you have, when machines are made, you see that some machines will have a problem whereby the belt will go off the spoolie. Okay, it will go off and sag and go off. So to prevent this kind of sagging, that's why we put the belt tensioner. Okay, so the belt tensioner, you see, it just consists of this arm that pivots around this. Okay, and also it has this bush here that just pivots around here. So whereby that during operation, if the mold is down, this belt, this spring here will just keep some, like for instance, when the mold, so like in this case the mold is on the lowest point. Okay, so this, at this point the belt will be under tension, but when you move this mold up, the belt will sag. So to prevent this kind of sagging, that's why we have this. It just keeps providing the tension to the bolt, it keeps providing the tension to the belt so that it stays under tension and doesn't go off the pulley. So it does that by using this spring here. We have the spring here. The spring just keeps on providing that tension. Okay, yeah. So we see, can move it to this point. And let me say it's at this point. When you try to rebuild, okay, the belt just changes. Okay, it just, the spring provides that extension, but also can provide the pulling force to keep the tension in the belt. Okay, I think I've explained that too much, but let's go to the next part: compaction and mold contact. So this is by this I mean, we have, you see the compaction unit, it has to come down and it has to also go up. So, but there is no system doing this kind of motion. It can fall down due to its own weight, it can slide down due to its own weight, but how does it go up? So this is done by what? It's done by the mold itself. So like when you try to lift the mold, you see, it comes up, it is going up. Okay, this angle line here, as you move the compaction unit up, it will reach a point whereby it touches this angle line, and when it does, it pushes the compaction unit up as well. See, so it pushes the compaction unit up, and that's how the compaction unit moves up. So when it moves up, we have what we call the locking system, compaction unit locking system. This is just this comprising of a spring. I put a spring here, and I also put this washer here. So whereby that as the compaction unit moves up, you see, as it moves up, it will push the spring back and the pin back and compressing the spring. But when the pin reaches the hole, it will just snap in and lock. Okay, that's why this is the locking system for that. There's a simpler version of this locking mechanism for these machines, but I just wanted to do something different. And if you want to release the compaction unit, you can just pull this. You just pull, put your arms there and you pull. Okay, then you pull, it will just fall into the mold. So that's the compaction unit locking pin. Then I put a minor feature here. These are the crane hooks. I would call crane hooks. So like in case you want to move this machine from one place to another, we put these hooks for you. You can tie ropes here and you lift it up. You put it on the car and you put it anywhere. So that's why we have these hooks on top. Okay, that's why I have them there. So I think now I've finished talking about the useful parts. So now let's talk about the machine operation, okay? Initially we have the machine in this state. This state means that the mold is touching the wooden pallet. So like first of all you raise the mold, okay? Then you insert the pallet, then you put the mold on the pallet. Okay, this is our pallet, and this is our mold. So after doing that, you then push the compaction unit backwards. Okay, you want it to push it backwards. Okay, so when it moves backwards, it leaves you with this space. You then fill the mold with concrete. At this point in time, you have to rotate this rotary dial to the M position. By putting it on the M position, that means we want the mold vibration to occur. So you fill in the concrete, you put it on the M position, it vibrates the concrete. Then you fill in more concrete. So you have to fill in. The steps I wrote down for this are this. You fill the mold with concrete, okay? Then you turn on the vibration. So when you vibrate, the concrete will settle, kind of settle and settle, okay? Will keep settling. So you can do this like twice. As it settles, you add more concrete until it doesn't actually settle that much. Then after that, that means the concrete is dense enough then. So now we have to, then after that step, we shall pull this arm, okay? When you pull that arm, you move the compaction unit forward, okay? And now we have the height alignment playing the role here. So if it is properly aligned, and we pull this locking system, okay, the compaction unit will be released and fall down into the mold. So when it goes into the mold, okay, at this point we have the mold vibration is on. Then you turn on the compaction unit vibration, this one, M and C. So you have this vibrating, the mold vibration is on, compaction unit vibration is on. So these two the combined effect of these two vibrations and the compression of the compaction unit will press down the concrete mix, and it becomes denser, okay? And as I said, we have the height indicator. So as this compaction goes on, at some point the desired height of the block will be attained, okay? You see? So when it is attained, as I told you before, our indicator here will be turned on, and the switch here will be turned on, and the switch will turn on the indicator here to tell the operator the block height has been attained. Okay. Sometimes the operator may be like, okay, let's leave it for like maybe 3 seconds to continue vibrating, or they can just continue and lift up the mold. So you lift the mold by moving this arm. So and our blocks are there, they are formed. Before lifting up this mold, you can turn off, because when the indicator goes on, you have to turn off the whole system. Then, or you can leave it on as you lift the mold. So you see that when we lifted the mold, the blocks they are there, they are formed. So and so at this point you want to keep the mold at this level, okay? That's why I have this pin here. So this is the mold lift locking pin. I said I will talk about it. So you see this pin here, when you push it forward, it will touch the frame here, and the arm won't be able to move backwards. So the mold will just stay in that position. Then another operator can come and take the blocks. So you take the blocks away for curing. So the blocks will be made after that, okay? So the pin, that's why you have this pin, just to keep the mold in that position, so that the operator can take the blocks away. After taking the blocks away, you set another pallet. When the mold is moving up, it will push the compaction unit up and lock it, and the locking system automatically locks it in position, okay? So that one happens automatically. And maybe I didn't talk about this rubber here. So this is just for cleaning the mold, the black thing you see. So as you see, when you're pouring in the concrete, that step of pouring in the concrete, you know, this will come and clean excess of okay, it cleans just the excess concrete on top of the mold. That's why you have it. Well, some of the things you might see, and maybe I haven't talked about, I may have talked about them in the previous video as well. Well, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.